We live?
Mr. Vaughn. Yes, we live now.
Yeah,
All the way
got
live.
got Corey
We
right in the house.
we are
LaShonda,
the two live crew.
the Two Live Crew. That's right. How's everybody doing?
We Gucci.
Good, good.
There you go. There you go. All right, you guys. Thank you guys for showing up on Tuesday. We getting ready to do some more of these contract stuff. But before we do, just want to, welcome you again to Super Tuesdays, where we go over all of your agreements and show you how to not only understand what they say, but also how to use them as part of your conversation to help you close more deals and also to fit them into the needs and greeds of your potential sellers or clients. So we hope to get into some good information today. I will spare a little time on the backside for you guys to ask any questions or anything like that. Let me give me 1 second. I want to show you guys a little something about what we do. Look, who's that? Jazzo. Okay. All right. Yeah, we got the Two Live Crew in here real today. I am looking for there we go.
Got more people coming in here now.
Yeah, man.
Hey, you getting popular, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We doing the damn thing over here.
We always just got to give them a taste of the flavor, and then they're in love. That's it.
Right. This is the flavor we savor up here, neighbor.
Well said.
So good, make you want to slap your mama.
It makes me feel like stroking. You guys, if you missed yesterday, you don't know that stroking, but
right.
Clarence Carter.
There you go. Hey, you guys, now before we get started, let me just do a quick little something. You guys, all of you know Justin, he is the the leader of the bunch, and we put in a bunch of work to try to bring you guys value on a weekly basis. And we basically do, I believe, Justin, you've added a Sunday show to your agenda, haven't you?
that's just me doing a live show, really for marketing. It's not really a VIP get together,
got it.
Just trying to get the word out. But yeah.
So marketing on Sundays, you guys, and the rest of the week, obviously we're here today. That's me. I'm doing a series right now on contracts. There's a number of contracts that we work with, so I'm going to try to go through as many of them during this series as I can. And then we'll switch up into something else that we feel is going to, help you accomplish what it is you're trying to accomplish in your business. But we do this 7 days a week, as you can tell. Justin just mentioned he does Sundays. I do Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, we do a call lab with Coach Mark. And he actually gets on the phone and make phone calls with people and it shows you how to talk to people. And then the great thing about his show is that you can actually critique everything after the fact. You listen to the call, you can get a sense of what you might have done different or better. And then you collaborate on that. Outstanding show that Mark does, and he does it every week. He also does that same thing on Tuesdays. He was on earlier today. That's 10:30 a.m. That would be Central Time. So make the adjustments for your time zone. On Monday evenings, we do what is called a deal lab with Coach Steve. And Coach Steve is an expert in creative deal structuring. And if you have a deal that you don't quite know where it fits, this is a great day to tune in and find out about how you can structure a deal to your maximum benefit. And he'll do all sorts of things from lease options to seller carryback to wraparound mortgages. He's amazing. You definitely want to tune into that. On Monday mornings, we got Justin he does Pretty House Profits. And he does a Q&A where he goes through all of your questions, answer anything you might have on, pretty houses, lease options. That's his specialty. He's been doing it for years, and he's a low-key expert, even though he'll try to play down the fact that he actually is. He just doesn't like to be called guru.
I'm just an arrogant prick like the rest of them, man.
All right. And then on Saturdays, we actually do a cash flow game where you can just come in, have some fun, enjoy yourself. The cash flow game, if you haven't ever played it, it's amazing. It'll teach you a bunch of things about financings, about, how to set things up in your life for maximum benefit financially, what kind of investments. It's an amazing game. Luke Quinall does that on Saturdays. 6:30 p.m. Again, all the times I'm giving you are central. On Saturday mornings, we have the weekend war room with Coach Nick. Coach Nick he just goes through all the stuff that you need to set up your business, to find your markets, to go in and get the information you need to get strong in your markets, to set up your different parts of your business as far as your technology. Just an amazing class. Definitely recommended, especially if you're just starting out in this game. Coach Arturo, we call him Ace. He comes on Fridays. He is now moving into actually some social media marketing stuff, and he's becoming an expert at that, besides also being, as you can see here, he says local market domination. He teaches you how to maximize signage, how to get all the stuff that you want to get out there to attract people to call you and allow you to then have the conversations that lead to deals. You definitely want to participate in that if at all possible. We also have an accountability session that we do with Coach Mark and Coach Ed. Ed is on the line with us. That's also, again, 12 p.m. Central Time. And basically, you just go in there and make some commitments to yourself, and then have some accountability partners that will keep you accountable and walk you through some stuff and help you whenever the challenges that inevitably come up emotionally and mentally, because those are the biggest challenges. The deal challenges, those are relatively easy to overcome. Our biggest battle is with ourselves. So that accountability group is really awesome in terms of dealing with that.
Can I add there that those guys are like the 12-step program for the Real Estate Wholesalers Club. If you're a chronic getting started addict and you just never seem to get past getting started, those are the guys you need to get to know right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for dropping that in there. On the we have Hervik. He comes on. What day is that? That's a Tuesday, right? Is that Wednesday?
He's on Thursday mornings.
Oh, sorry, Thursday morning. So he does this. His class is in Spanish. So I know we have a lot of multilingual, bilingual, or total Hispanic people out here in the marketplace that are trying to learn the game of real estate. And there are very few outlets out there that are teaching what we teach in Spanish. So Hervik, he does an outstanding job of bringing you straight information about how to get yourself started, how to get plugged into the Real Estate Wholesalers Club and get access to the coaching and all the opportunities that are available there for you. And so that's on Thursdays. And on Wednesdays, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Claude Diamond. He is actually the creator of a sales methodology that he calls GUTS. Oh, excuse me, you guys. I have phones ringing off the hook. Let me hang up on that. He does a sales methodology called GUTS. And in so doing, he teaches you all of how to relate to people on the phone, how to talk to people on the phone. And they actually alternate on Wednesdays. One Wednesday is Claude, the other Wednesday is Justin, and they alternate between the two. Amazing training. on how to give good phone. That's what we call it, because that is the key that unlocks everything about this business. Everything else we can give you, but we can't give you the ability to get on the phone, create relationship, and close deals. That's something you have to work on. That's something you have to practice. But we give you an opportunity to rub elbows with the very best and get your training on. Justin, you want to say anything about the Wednesdays?
I just want to say, God, man, I'm impressed. Like, I I know that sounds funny, but I've never heard anybody go through what we do just like you just did right there. I'm like, holy cow, we do all this? This is incredible.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah.
So yeah, man, thank you. I'm gonna be floating the rest of the day like, man, this is this is
Oh yeah,
incredible.
man. You are, you're the creator of this, and I know that you are so intent on and focused on just bringing value to this club that sometimes you don't even realize everything you've done over the years. We were talking earlier, Justin and I, and I was pulling up some websites, and Justin was like, "Oh, that's the old one. That's the old one," because this guy is constantly bringing up stuff to just try to help you guys win in this game. So we appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, and then also, back on Wednesdays, then we're back to the call labs, with Coach Mark, who is, just absolutely killing it, helping people, get deals, bring in deals. We'll partner with you on the deals. Well, he'll partner with you on them on these calls, help you get them closed, walk you through all the way from marketing to acquisition to disposition, as part of the call lab. So you guys plug in. That's it for me. I just wanted to let you guys know what the opportunity is for you to jump into a group of people that are committed to you winning and, having you have success. Now, with all that said, let's get ready to rumble. What I mean is we're going to do. All right, you guys. So before I get started, you guys got any questions or anything you want to hit me with real quick? And don't be making it about deals until the end. Look at Rashik. Rashik is like, "Oh, I got a deal."
Hey, what's up, man? Hey,
What's
quick
up?
I like your flow, man. You call yourself MC Victor.
Smooth as silk. Smooth as silk, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, a quick
appreciate
question. I'm kind of like stuck on the paperwork. I was thinking, would it be a good idea, like whatever state that I'm doing a deal in, to Google what's their lease option, criteria, and kind of match it with the paperwork in the VIP section, or I'm just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, if you can find something on Google, but it's sometimes very difficult to find stuff in regards to lease option, particularly. If you're part of the group, we can probably help you out if you're in a particular area, and if they have particular rules. Yeah, do your research, call some local attorneys. They might not want to speak with you as much as, say, escrow companies or closing attorneys will speak with you, and title companies will speak with you, right? So if you have any questions, anything, look, I want to do a deal in your town, but I want to make sure that I'm within the rules of operation that you have there. Can I ask you a couple of questions? Maybe you can you help me out a little bit? I won't take up much of your time.
And just kind of plug that into whatever they give me, kind of.
Just plug it in, yeah, absolutely. And as we're going through these trainings, what you'll find is that you'll get a basic understanding of the contracts, what we call the agreements. You'll get a basic understanding. So you'll recognize when there's an outlier situation that you might need to address. But for the most part, the contracts are standard. And I tell this story about an attorney that called me out of Georgia, and was trying to basically sweat me about a situation on a lease option that I had done, right? But I had used these very same contracts that we're going over that, we put together, Justin put together, and then, we did a little bit of tweaking to the agreement because of information that we asked about and found out. But more importantly, she called me and tried to, call me on the carpet on something. I went immediately to the contract, pointed out exactly what the tenant buyer signed. And it's not my responsibility to explain every part of a contract to a tenant buyer. If you're buying a house, you should read your darn contract, right? So I pointed everything out to this attorney. Needless to say, I never heard from her again. She was like, oh, okay, thank you. Because we had covered pretty much everything that needed to be covered in that agreement, and anything that was additional, I always use the addendum to add any outlying scenarios that I might need to include in my contract if I can't reword it.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man.
That make sense?
That makes sense.
All right. Cool. You're welcome. Any other questions before we get started?
Yeah, Victor, I have a question.
Hey, Sandra, how you doing,
Hi.
dog?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Good. So I have a question regarding the HUD and
Okay.
what to say to a seller where they see exactly what you're making in terms of the assignment fee on there. I know what to say in terms of how to spin it when the deal is a house, where I can, kind of say that my assignment fee or whatever number they're seeing, that's just, that's the amount that I'm going to be putting in the house in terms of getting it ready for some of the repairs. That's like the starting point. If my assignment fee is $9,000, I can just say, yeah, that $9,000 is, what I'm going to be putting towards the house with some of the repairs that I have to do. And that's been fine when I've explained that. How do I explain that when it comes to a HUD for land?
Well, okay, so let's back up, and Justin might want to jump in here as well, but let's back up to the very beginning of the conversation, right? When you are first negotiating this thing, and this is something that I do on every negotiation that I do with someone, I say, look, are you okay with everything that we've agreed on in terms of what I'm paying you for this land, everything like that? So as long as you get everything that we say you're going to get, are you going to have any problem if I happen to find a situation that allows me to make a profit on this deal? And is there a number that is too much for you? I literally say that just like that. Is there a number that is too much for you? Let's say I make $20,000 on this deal, would you be okay with that or maybe not? So if he says maybe not, or goes in a direction where like, no, I think we should split that or whatever, and then I go back to, look, here are the things that you said you wanted, and we've agreed to all of those things. So now, after you get everything that you said, why is it a concern of yours? What happens after the fact? Well, they say whatever they say. If in fact that conversation becomes, muddy, I'm doing a double close. It's that simple. If that conversation becomes muddy, where this person does not want to go along with, understanding my profit, if he's okay with me making 5,000 but not 20,000, if I'm making over 5,000, I'm doing a double close. It's that simple. I don't argue with them. I don't fuss with them. I don't, look, if you got a problem with it, then okay, that's fine. Okay. I'll take care of it on the back end. But normally what happens really is a conversation where, look, I'm going to give you everything that you asked for. If I happen to make some money on this deal because of my knowledge of this business, my contacts that I have developed in this business over all the years, and there's some money in there that I might be able to extract, do you have a problem with that? No, I don't care how much you make on it. Okay, cool. That's a straight assignment fee, no matter what, because, well, we good with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The only thing that I was thinking about is that makes sense in terms of double closing. If you're starting out and you don't have the funds to do a double closing, is that a deal where you kind of just walk away?
What do you mean the funds to do a double closing? Why do you need funds to do a double closing?
Because you would have to buy the first deal with your own money, right, to do the double closing.
No, you bring in your partner, unless you're buying it yourself to begin with. When you bring in your buyer is going to take care of those costs. You may have to come up with a couple of dollars, but you're going to get it right back at the second closing. Understand that some of these things occur on the same day.
Yeah, I asked my lawyer if I can use the buyer's money to do a double closing. They said no, they can't.
You went out.
So, did you hear what I said?
Well, I'm assuming you said you asked your lawyer if you can use the buyer's money for the double closing.
Right,
And
they said absolutely not. That I would have to bring my own funds and purchase the deal.
What state are you in?
I'm in Georgia.
Okay, so I believe in Georgia, and if anybody's in Georgia, you can correct me on this, but I believe in Georgia, like they won't do a close on the same day. So when you have a funding source, the funding source can still provide the money. The only issue you might have is if they want to see a history, if they want to, see a history for your money showing that it came out of your bank account or doing all that kind of stuff. And if that's the case, I would probably shop it. Like I would shop for there are investors in that area that are doing double closes. Okay. So this attorney, and again, I've spoken to especially Georgia. I've spoken to a number of attorneys in Georgia, and the same question gets a different answer from almost every one of them.
Right.
So I'm looking for somebody who wants to run the program like I want to run the program. So I'm going to keep dialing until I find somebody who is familiar with it, who's down with it, and start with the investors. They'll refer you to somebody who will probably be able to handle your situation. The attorney you're working with now might not. Mm-hmm. But I know for sure people are doing double closings in Georgia.
Using the buyer's funds.
Using the buyer's funds.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Justin's going to jump in here.
Well, I was debating whether I wanted to or not. I had this happen to me one time before. Well, it's happened a few times, but one time in particular, it happened right late in the game where it was at the closing table. And the seller was like, well, hey, why is all this money going to Eagle Beaver Capital LLC? I don't understand who this is or why they're getting this money. And so they called me, and then, I was glad I was wearing my brown pants because it was kind of make you scared there at first. Might make a mess out of things. And so I just said, well, hey, listen, the buyer, ABC LLC, and myself are partners in this deal, as you can see. And so that's just how they and our partnership has agreed for me to be compensated along with him and getting the deal. So this is just how we've decided to use the money. And I'm kind of confused at why this is an issue. And once they heard that, for whatever reason, it was like fixed. I don't really, it was like, hey, me and my partner are going to do this. We need the money this way. And besides that, you're getting everything we agreed to. I'm kind of confused here.
Right.
What's happening? And I try to play dumb like that. So I don't know if that is a technique that you might employ at some point, but that has worked for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. That makes great sense. Now, in that situation, was it a partner an individual partner that was just bringing money to the table, or I know you're not a hard money guy, neither am I.
No, this was just a cash buyer transaction. This was my cash buyer, but But see, I've been referring to the cash buyer this entire transaction as my partner in the deal. Even with the seller, hey, my partner's going to come over and take a look at the house. He's bringing a contractor. They're going to, get an inspection, everything we need to get pictures of, and all of that. My partner. So when I play the partner card at the closing table, it just sells because it's been selling this whole time.
Right. Yeah, that's strong. That's strong. Did that answer your question, Sandra? It sure enlightened me a little bit.
Yeah, that works for me. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions before we go? I see Steve Driscoll. I mentioned him on his Monday night trainings. I see he joined us in the room. Welcome, Steve.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Well, it's going great, man. Great to see you. I'm just stopping in for a minute just to announce on Monday night, I got Mitch Stevens going to be on. Oh, okay. You see how we do it? This is how we bring it.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible.
Everybody should be marking their calendars for next Monday night, okay? Because this guy's going to turn your head inside out.
Wow.
All right? And so Mitch Stevens, Monday night, this is the guy that sold My Life in 1,000 Houses. Now he's up to about 2,800. He's doing I was just on the phone with him for an hour. So great guy.
Wow.
You're all going to get great information out of it. Make sure you're there. I'm going to do a posting on the two websites here now. I just jumped in. Sorry to.
No, man, don't apologize for bringing value.
Yeah. But everybody on the call should be marking down there. This guy is great. He's a good friend. 9:00 Eastern time.
Yeah, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific.
4 o'clock in Hawaii.
If you're in Hawaii, you're on your own. I don't know.
Right, in Hawaii, I don't know what to do.
8 o'clock in Uzbekistan, whatever. Okay. Right. What are you guys doing there? Contracts?
Yeah, we're doing contracts. We were answering some questions right now that we're working on going through the parts of the lease option agreement, the tenant contract.
All right. Well, I don't want to bother you, man, but sorry to barge in. You guys have a great day. Enjoy this. Justin, you guys, talk to you soon. Take care then, man.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, man. That's great.
Thanks for the announcement.
Hey, Victor, I don't have a question. I have an announcement.
Go ahead. Don't you know what? You know what? Stop it. You know what? I'm so done with this woman. She just be superstarring and flexing on us. Tell us about your deal, girl.
Tell Justin to ring that motherfucking bell.
Yeah.
Love it.
I'm not gonna hold the class up.
No. We want to hear this. Give us the cliff notes.
Okay, so this is a baby deal. It's a lot that I sold. Same situation. Didn't talk to the seller. Everything was done through text. It took about 5 weeks. It got delayed a week because the seller job had sent them out of town, so we had to wait until we got back. But the assignment was $1,750.
Nice.
Whoa, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's rent and car note.
It was a JV deal. This one was a JV deal.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but the killer part about it is, I was trying to find a buyer. I couldn't find a buyer at the time, so I reached out to a friend of mine and sent them over to him. No sooner than I did that, no sooner than his buyer signed the agreements, because it was 2 lots. No sooner than he signed the agreements, then I found a buyer, but it was already too late.
Of course you did, right? That's just how it happens. But you got to keep it moving, right?
Gotta keep it moving.
Keep
But
it
I don't
moving.
want to hold the class up. I just want to throw that out there.
Hey, congratulations.
Hey, Justin. Where's Justin at?
Yes.
You right there.
I want my damn white bell. Where my white bell at?
Hey, that white bell.
I'm coming for that white bell.
The white
I'm
bell.
coming.
It's getting ready. It's
Yeah, you see? She flexing on you. She flexing now. She flexing now.
That's it. That's all I had.
All right. Well, congratulations, sweetie. You're the bomb. We love having you on the team, you guys. This is how we do it.
That's how we do.
Whoop, whoop. Oh, you're welcome. Hey, that's so awesome. We'd love to hear those kind of stories. All right, guys. So if there's no more questions, I'm gonna try to jump in here and go a little further into this contract with you guys. Let me find my agreement here.
Man, who's next?
If you guys can't tell, I'm working on a brand new laptop, and I have all kind of issues with everything that I have. Got a text message. Can you tell?
It looks good. We're seeing it good, man. It's
all right. You seeing it now? Okay. Good. All right, you guys. So I believe we left off last week, and we were talking about personal property and possession, right? And so let's review possession again. I think we're clear on personal property, you know, people leaving stuff there that you can actually, you know, confiscate, sell, or do whatever if money is owed. And you can also charge for them parking or leaving stuff on your premises. You can charge a daily amount, and it can accumulate until they move the stuff out of your property. Honestly, to be, you know, real transparent with you guys, when you're charging this kind of stuff and you haven't got any money to begin with from these people, it's probably going to be a little bit difficult. Even if you end up going to, say, small claims court and getting a judgment, you're probably still going to have a little bit of a time dealing with this stuff. I always say on these negotiations, and I told this story before about my two investor buddies who, one wanted to go to court and go through all that stuff, and the other one said, I pay every single time. So he goes right in, he negotiates a buyout, he settles all it, like he never ever goes to court. Now, I don't know if I could say I never, but I really believe in that philosophy wholeheartedly, because all you're going to do is just stress out your life, create a whole bunch of static for yourself, and you may or may not ever get these people to pay you. There is one thing that you can do, though, is that you can file a lien on them. And what will happen is if they ever go to buy any other property or refinance a property or do anything like that, that lien will pop up and they'll have to cure it before you release. At that point, they'll probably come back to you and try to negotiate or whatever. And it's going to be up to you whether you do that. So just a little bit on the, you know, personal property thing. And this is just assuming that somebody does not perform on their lease option. And now they have to leave, but they're, you know, leaving either a little bit salty or they're just irresponsible people that, you know, are just, you know, leaving a bunch of stuff, broken down cars or whatever on the premises. That's what that deals with. We talked about possession. If the owner or managing agent is unable to deliver possession of the premises to tenant buyer at the commencement of the term specified in this residency agreement, owner or managing agent will not be liable for any damage caused thereby, nor will this residency agreement be void or voidable. Owner or managing agent will take reasonable steps to obtain possession of the premises from the previous resident or owner. Tenant buyer will not be liable for any rent, however, until the date that possession is actually delivered. Tenant buyer may terminate this residency agreement if owner or managing agent fails to deliver possession of the premises within 60 days after commencement of the specified term. Okay, let me translate that to English. You have a lease option deal. There is currently a tenant in the property. The tenant up to this point has made all sorts of agreements and promises of when they'll be out, but life happened to them, and now, you know, they're embarrassed, they're skirting the situation. And I'm painting the good picture. This is the good tenant that just happen to have life go bad. We know about the other tenants who are just, you know, not good people. But anyway, so what will happen here is that you have 60 days, and this is another editable part of the agreement that you can change. And you can make it 90 days or 30 days or whatever, where if the property is not delivered vacant as promised within that 60-day time period, the tenant buyer could void the entire agreement and be entitled to refunds of any monies that they may have put down up to this point. So until that tenant takes possession, I suggest you take any monies that you've received and put those into an account not to be touched until all of the transaction has been consummated, the person has moved in, and all agreements have been signed with the owner and with you. All right. And you guys feel free to jump in and ask any questions as I'm going along with this. 26, right to sublease. The tenant buyer is never allowed to sublease the property, because all this does for you and for the owner is muddy up the situation. And sometimes it can get really, really bad. I've heard stories of family members being allowed to move in, and then the other person moved and the family member stayed. And now we had a problem. So you want to make this real clear. Look, you cannot sublease. You can't rent this to somebody else. You can't move in anybody who is not on this agreement without prior approval from me. And any adult that's going to move into the property will have to go through all of the background, credit, and tenant checks that we did with you. Is that understood, Mr. Tenant Buyer? Okay, great. Special provisions, number 27, owner or managing agent are responsible for no cost whatsoever that may be connected to the home. The tenant buyer is responsible for any and all costs. Plain and simple. Once you take possession of this, you are now a homeowner. You are not a renter, even though you are on a lease agreement, but that lease agreement is for the purpose of locking in a term and a price for which you are obligated to perform. And if you don't, then the steps to curing your non-performance are specified here in this contract. We had got to Radon last week. I believe that somebody had asked about Radon and where it's located, and my understanding is it's in basements, but I do know gases rise. So if it's in a basement and there's openings such as for cable or antennas, electronics or pipes or whatever, it could get up into the house. Radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that, when it has accumulated in a resident in sufficient quantities, may present health risks to persons who are exposed to it over a period of time. Levels of radon that exceed federal and or state guidelines may have been found in residences in this state. You say that pretty much in every state, right? It's a possibility. Some states, it's not even an issue. Radon is not an issue, but so what? You know, you put it in there anyway. Rather need it and rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. 29, personal residence. Tenant buyer agrees to use this dwelling as their personal residence. They agree to conduct no business on the premises without first obtaining owner or managing agent prior written permission. Okay, so I wanted to just real clear right here. The owner is always the last word, because it's still their house. Even though you have a contract on it, it's still their property. So the owner is the owner of record, right? There is nobody else that can claim to be the owner. They can act for the owner if they have the proper authorization, but they are not the owner. The owner of record is the only owner. Managing agent, that is, let's say you decided that you were going to pay a management company for this, right? That would be the managing agent. Let's say that you did a sandwich and you stayed in the middle. You're probably going to be the managing agent under those circumstances. But that's what they mean when we say those two phrases, because they'll probably come up again in the contract. Number 30, appliances. Appliances included, but not limited to ranges, refrigerators, portable heaters, window air conditioners, and evaporative coolers are not included in the monthly rent. Right? Maintenance of these units are the tenant buyer's responsibility, and tenant buyer must keep them in good repair. Tenant buyer will have no ownership interest in any provided appliances and does not have the right to remove these provided appliances from the leased premises for any reason whatsoever unless first right of purchase is exercised and completed. So in other words, all the appliances and stuff that are in there, they don't belong to the tenant buyer until the tenant buyer closes on the purchase transaction, the purchase side of this transaction. Everything else in the meantime is to stay in the house and is to be taken care of by them. This is where I have really found benefit in using the home warranty. The home warranty will come in and they will repair all of this stuff. It brings goodwill. You don't have to pay for it. It covers any expenses. It solves so many problems, not the least of which it's a great closing tool to put the seller at ease about that question about what if they destroy my property? Well, we got you covered on that one. Tenant buyers responsible for everything under 500, and the home warranty will take care of anything major, including roof, including appliances, heating, electrical, plumbing, you know the story. Violations of this provision will result in criminal prosecution and civil claims for penalties, fines, and costs, including attorney's fees, in addition to any and all other legal and equitable remedies of owner. Any appliances that is with the home at the time it is leased shall not be warranted. The following appliances may have been supplied by the courtesy of owner. And so if there are appliances in the property, this is where you list those appliances. You put in here refrigerator, washer and dryer, stove, anything that could be considered personal property or that they might have the inclination to bail and try to take. So this is a really important one that you cover with them in terms of, look, these appliances are not yours until you close on this house. In the meantime, it's your responsibility to keep them in good working order and to keep them at a level of cleanliness that's acceptable. Number 31. Anybody have any questions up to this point? You guys are real quiet over there. I can't see you on my computer, but I guess you're still out there. Any questions from anybody?
I do have a question.
Yes, dear.
And I'm gonna say the seller is not really motivated, but I've come across a couple of them that soon as you throw out the lease option or whatever, they've been through it before, but they don't like tell you right up front. Like I've been in a situation where I was talking to the seller and, you know, kind of like pitching. And then when I got to the repairs and stuff like that, I did throw out about the homeowner's warranty, blah, 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 blah. And then this one lady just straight up was like, she wasn't doing it because she been there before. She's done that before. She's even done the homeowner's warranty deal and all that. She just like shot it all down. So I would just say that's just pretty well much. She just wasn't motivated. So it was really nothing that I could have said to bring her back around.
What did she say? And I'm pretty sure you asked this question because I know how you do it, but did you happen to have the conversation about what happened before that has you concerned about moving forward? Like there's probably a story, right, where something happened in a situation that she had. If nothing happened, then everything is imagined. And if everything is imagined, that does go back to a large degree to their motivation.
She was saying that they didn't purchase the house and then they tore the house up. But she also mentioned, when I mentioned something about the homeowner's warranty, she was like, yeah, that didn't seem to cover anything. I was left with a bunch of damages to my property. She was saying that the stuff that was damaged, it wasn't covered under the homeowner's warranty, as far as the appliances.
Okay, so I don't understand that, because I don't know of a homeowner warrant, a home warranty that does not cover appliances unless you specifically excluded the appliances, or if the appliances were too old to be covered under the home warranty. But when you buy a home warranty, you go through all of that and make sure that all of those items are covered. So right. Yeah, I don't know where she was actually going with that. There's probably more to the story. Mm-hmm. You know the deal. There was more to the story than she was revealing, at that time. But sometimes, somebody has really, really had a bad experience like that. One of the ways that you can do it is, look, would it have helped you in that situation if you had collected a little bit more money up front? Right. How much did you collect as your deposit? Well, I collected first and last. Well, would it make sense if you collected just a little bit more as a reserve against things like that's happening on top of the home warranty? Is that something you would consider?
Right.
And maybe you can buy your way through it, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously it's not going to be your money, but you may have to sell the contract, and you may not make as much profit because you might have to pull some back in. But like you said, even on this deal, right, 1750 is 1750.
Right. So my next question is, when you, because she did that late in the conversation, but yeah, I've been in a situation where it was early. Like, as soon as you start talking about it, I'd be like, because I've done it before, and blah 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 blah. So when they give you that objection like that, do you try to still push forward and kind of dissect and dig off into it to try to see what the problem was and try to resolve it?
I go the sympathetic route, like, oh my God, I've heard stories like this. Tell me a little something about it, like, because you could be helping me, because I want to avoid this thing too. And I understand that we might not move forward on this, but if you don't mind, maybe you can just share with me a little bit about what happened. So that conversation is about collecting ammo. I am looking to see if there's anything in there that I could cure by my process. In other words, could I create a situation that resolves each one of those issues for her? Well, if I was to do this, would that make you feel comfortable enough to move forward, or maybe not?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. So it's really about, getting in there and taking the pressure off. Like, look, I get it. You know what? If I was you, I'd probably feel the same way. Right. Maybe you could help me out a little bit and just share with me, kind of, what happened there, because, I've seen a lot of situations, but, what you're describing sounds a little unique. So, I would love to make sure that my antenna is up in case there's some warning signs. Maybe you can help me out.
Got it.
Make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions before we move on? We got about 7 minutes left, so we're still on this first contract. As you can tell, this contract is robust, covers everything that pretty much needs to be covered, and so you want to have a fundamental understanding of what these agreements say, how they cover you, and more importantly, how they'll be covering your seller. Because this is going to be like Sharon was saying, that it's going to be the one sticking point that you may have to overcome more than all the other ones as you go through this process. Because especially if they've done this before, these elements of this agreement are going to come up over and over. And if you know the agreement and you know what it says, then you can kind of address it and use the agreement and then solidify it by actually showing it to them when it comes time for you to actually walk them through the agreement. Notice I said, walk them through the agreements. Don't ever assume that somebody, and I don't mean you have to do what we're doing, because obviously you see how long this is taking, but what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that any concerns that they have, you're able to go back to the agreement and address that particular issue as it relates to their concern. And more importantly, you're going to give them or describe to them the cure for whatever it is that ails them as it relates to not moving forward because of X, right? So that was the whole purpose. That was our thinking. That was my thinking when I started talking about doing agreements, because I found that in my business, it has been invaluable just to have a certain understanding about the agreements. And then in so doing, I realized these are closing tools. There's elements in here that I actually can use to close a deal because it protects them. And everybody wants to move, or I should say many people won't move forward until they get the warm and toasty. This is my way to help them to get the warm and toasty, because look, we've thought of everything. We're not new to the game. We've done this before. Never mind that you're new to the game and haven't done it before. If you understand this agreement, you will present yourself as somebody who knows what they're doing. And the confidence is what they need to have. Number 31, destruction or severe damage. If the leased premises should be damaged or destroyed by fire or other cause to such an extent that the cost of repair and restoration would exceed 10% of the amount it would cost to replace the leased premises in their entirety at the time such damage or destruction took place, then owner shall have the right to cancel this lease by giving tenant buyer notice of such election within 10 days of the occurrence of said damage or destruction, and this lease shall terminate as of 5 days after the date such notice is given. You give the notice on the 1st. The 1st is 10, the event occurred on the 20th. You gave them, the 10 days. You gave them the notice on the 10th. On the 1st, they have to be out by the 5th. Tenant buyer shall not exercise the right of purchase, even if the lease is terminated due to destruction. Oh, I'm sorry. Tenant buyer may still exercise the first right of purchase, even if the lease is terminated due to destruction. If the damage or destruction to the property is determined to be an amount less than 10% of the amount it would cost to replace the leased premises in their entirety at the time such damage or destruction took place, then the lease shall not terminate, and the owner shall, at his expense, properly repair and restore the leased premises to substantially the same condition they were prior to the damage or destruction. Insert home warranty, because you're not going to be able to deal with a bunch of this stuff if it occurs. And this was the main reason why now the odds of something like this happening are like, you don't hear many stories about something like this occurring, but can it occur? Absolutely, it can occur. And now you have to deal with it. A good home warranty. When I say a good home warranty, there are home warranty companies that are crap, right? There are home warranty companies, and the easiest way to find out which home warranty companies are best, go to Angie's List, act like you need to do something major, and they'll have contractors contact you, and you'll say, I'm dealing with my home warranty. And they'll ask you immediately, which home warranty company do you have? And you'll say a name, and you can just run down the list. Look, I'm going with Fidelity. Oh, great. They pay and they respond, and they're very good. Or I'm going with, American Home. Oh my God, they don't, and I'm just throwing these out there. I'm not bad mouthing either one of the companies. But my point is, they will tell you who is doing a great job. Now, you're not going to do this on everything. You'll start to get a sense of the companies that actually deliver, and the ones that are just, there are bad home warranty companies that don't live up to, what they say they're going to do, or they take so long to do it that the contractors don't like working with them. And if the contractors don't like working with them, you're going to have a really hard time, getting the things that you need done in a timely manner. So, any questions on that? All right. This is going to be the last one. Then we'll pick up on number 33 next week. But number 32, mechanics liens. Residents shall not permit any statement of intention to hold a mechanics lien to be filed against the leased premises or any part thereof, nor against any interest or estate herein by reason of labor, services, or materials claimed to have been performed of, furnished to, or for the resident. If such statement of intent to hold a mechanics lien shall be filed, resident shall secure the release of said mechanics lien immediately upon notice of said lien being presented to the resident by owner, and shall indemnify owner for his costs, together with attorney's fees in securing the release of said lien. Whew, a lot of legalese. Let me try to see if I can break it down in English for you. If the tenant buyer decides to have some work done on the property, the guy who comes in, the tenant buyer doesn't feel like the guy did it right. Him and the guy now have a dispute. I say guy, could be guy or girl, whatever, now have a dispute. The tenant buyer does not want to pay the craftsman, the workman. The workman then goes and files a mechanics lien to try to get his money. This is telling them that if you ever do something like that and it results in a mechanics lien or something like that be filed, you will be totally and completely responsible for curing that mechanics lien. And the last thing you want is to have the mechanics lien and my lawsuit on you all at the same time. It's all bad after that. So whatever they incur as far as any kind of liens being placed on the property at that time, they're responsible for it. The tenant buyer is the one that's responsible for it. It's their job to notify the owner immediately, and it is their job to then cure it by contract. All right. All right, guys. Any questions real quick before I go? I'm going to stop sharing screen and I'll take your questions before we wrap up today. Come on. I guess, you know what, whenever you guys do this, you know what I say to myself, man, you must have done an outstanding job and really just explained this to the just at the top level, because these folks is really getting it.
No, Victor, you did. Yeah, Victor, you're doing it's really helpful.
Oh, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Sandra. I'm really glad you said that. I really want you guys to get value and really see, because it's I feel like it's an important thing that that nobody ever really talks about this stuff, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
They just say get it under contract.
Yeah, and then you're talking to us in like layman's term. I just need to just break it down that way, so that I can feel comfortable enough explaining it also.
In plain English, right?
In plain English, exactly. Yeah, so it's really helpful. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. All right, guys. I think that's it for the day. We'll do some more. We had left off on number 33. We'll get to that next week, and we'll keep going through all of the contracts. So we have a few weeks left on these agreements and stuff. And, I really hope you guys are getting value, out of this, and that it's actually helping you to solidify your thinking and your negotiations and your ability to speak to these people on the phone, and the comfort level that you can pass on to them, knowing that their concerns are addressed. They're not just spoken about, they're addressed, and they're addressed in writing. So, Jazzo, you turned off your mic. Did you have a question or a comment?
No, nice job, man.
Oh, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, just 2 cents worth on, as a California contractor, you can ask. if it comes up on lien and who has authority, don't freak out as an owner, because the deal is the tenant is not your agent. They were never authorized. So you know it's going to be a pain in the ass. But when you get before an arbiter and you say they weren't authorized, I own the thing, you're good. That lien will come off. They whoever files the lien is holding the wrong party accountable. That was not your deal.
Right.
In terms of getting through, when you have, I just did a deal on a different asset with somebody who had been burned in the past, and how I got her to do it again. I said, when did that happen? She said it was in the 80s. I said, gosh, that was a lifetime ago. A lot of changes in the industry since then. Is that the only thing that's keeping us from going forward? Is that stopping us? If I could satisfy, where would we go? And just kept repeating that. Is that, and when she would say, this is the issue I would have, I would say, so where we're at is this. Where could we go if? And they will tell you, they will lead you past their own resistance. Just let them talk. Say, is that what's stopping us? And they will go. And let them talk. And you'll figure out what you need to do to make them feel warm and fuzzy.
That's strong, my friend. Appreciate the input, man. That that gives you even a little bit more comfort, understanding that their lien could be misdirected. And as soon as you point that out, and as soon as the understanding starts with you, right? As long as you know that it's misdirected, now you take the first step, which is to point out to everyone that it's misdirected.
That's right.
So,
and the paperwork that is provided to us here at Guts is flawless. Those the lawyers you're going to most of them are just lazy, and they will back up, because when your paperwork's good, it's good. They're just going to try. They're going to they're going to try to make some money on you. All right. Thank you so much for that. Any other questions or comments or anything before we sign off? Justin, you got anything for us, my friend, before we call it a day? I know.
Good session, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Tomorrow, Justin will be on doing the phone training, getting you to give good phone.
Oh yeah.
You want to tune in for that? This dude is badass.
That's tomorrow. What time?
Same time. Same 12 noon Central. 1 p.m. Eastern. No, I'm not gonna do it.
10 Pacific.
11 a.m. Mountain. All that.
10%. All right.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging in there all day. Justin, thanks for working the ones and twos for me. I appreciate you, bro.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good job, Victor.
Thank you. You guys have a great one.
Nice job.
Bye-bye.